There's a kind of silence that doesn't come from the absence of sound, but from the presence of loss. It's the silence that settles in a room when a child stops asking questions because she can no longer hear the answers. It's the silence of a piano lid left closed, not from neglect, but because the music inside can no longer be heard. It's the silence of a sister reaching for your hand during a joke, and you don't feel it because you didn't hear her laugh. This is the silence that begins to wrap itself around Mary Ingalls in the winter of 1878. At first, it's small. A missed call at dinner, a delayed response in class, the way she tilts her head slightly, as if straining to catch a whisper on the edge of hearing. But soon, the silence grows louder than any noise, because it's not just outside her, it's inside her, and it's stealing her world. Mary has always been the steady one, the good daughter, the one who follows the rules, keeps her dress clean, and never raises her voice. While Laura dances barefoot through the fields, Mary walks with careful steps, her books clutched to her chest like armor. She believes in order, in certainty, in the idea that if you do everything right, life will reward you with peace. But life, as the Prairie teaches again and again, doesn't promise peace. It only offers choice. When the headaches begin, sharp, stabbing, relentless, Mary says nothing. She doesn't want to worry Ma. She doesn't want to be a burden. But when she stumbles in the schoolyard, when she fails to answer the teacher's question, when she sits through hymns at church with dry eyes while others weep, even her quiet strength begins to crack. Charles sees it first. That flicker of panic in her eyes when someone speaks behind her and she doesn't turn. The way she watches lips now, not faces. He takes her to the doctor in town, then to a specialist in Minneapolis. They run tests. They ask questions. They speak in hushed tones that Mary strains to hear, and fails. The diagnosis is meningitis, an inflammation of the brain and spinal cord, likely left over from an illness years before. It has damaged her auditory nerve, permanently. There is nothing we can do, the doctor says gently. And just like that, the future Mary imagined, schoolteacher, wife, mother, churchgoer, seems to vanish like smoke. Back in Walnut Grove, the town doesn't know how to act. Some avoid her as if deafness were contagious. Others speak loudly, slowly, as if she's also lost her mind. Even well-meaning friends pat her hand and say, "Poor Mary," with such pity in their voices that it feels like another kind of blindness, the kind that refuses to see her as anything but broken. But Mary isn't broken. She's trapped in a world built for hearing people, trapped by expectations that no longer fit, trapped by her own fear that if she can't be the Mary everyone knows, she might not be anyone at all. Then comes the letter. It arrives on a Tuesday, carried by the mail coach from Vinton, Iowa. It's from the Iowa Braille and Sight Saving School, a place not just for the blind, but for those navigating life with sensory loss. They've heard of Mary's situation. They offer her a place, not as a charity case, but as a student, a person with potential. Charles is torn. How can he send his gentle daughter, his firstborn, so far away? What if she's lonely? What if she's overwhelmed? But Caroline, after a long night of prayer and tears, speaks the hardest truth with the softest voice. We love her too much to keep her small. So Mary goes, not with fanfare, not with tears, though Laura cries enough for both of them, but with a single trunk, her favorite dress, and a heart full of both terror and hope. At the school, everything is different. Doors have textured markers. Hallways echo with the tap of canes. Classrooms are quiet, but alive with the rustle of Braille pages and the murmur of fingers reading raised dots. For the first time, Mary isn't the only one who can't hear. She isn't the deaf girl. She's just Mary. She learns Braille with fierce determination. She practices walking with a cane until her palms are raw. She even returns to the piano, not to play by ear, but by memory, by touch, by feeling the vibrations travel up her arms and into her bones. Music, she discovers, isn't just sound. It's rhythm. It's emotion. It's alive in the body, even when the ears are still. But the true test comes one freezing February night. A fire breaks out in the dormitory. Sparks from a faulty stove racing up dry wood. Alarms blare. Students flee. But Mary, in her room down the hall, hears nothing. Yet she senses it. The heat, the smell of smoke, the sudden rush of feet she can't hear but can feel through the floorboards. And then she remembers. Lena, a younger blind girl who clings to Mary like a lifeline. Lena is terrified of fire. She won't leave without help, without hesitation. Mary turns toward the danger. She crawls through thick smoke, calling Lena's name, not with her voice, but with her hands, her presence, her refusal to abandon someone in need. She finds her curled under a bed, trembling. Mary takes her hand, presses it to her own cane, and leads her out, step by careful step, through the dark, through the chaos, into the snow-covered yard where safety waits. When Charles arrives the next morning, having ridden through the night in panic, he expects to find his daughter shattered. Instead, he finds her sitting by the window, sunlight on her face, Lena's small hand resting in hers. "I'm not broken, Pa," she says, her voice calm, clear, certain. "I'm just different now, and that's okay." Those words, simple, profound, are the soul of Look Back to Yesterday. But this story is not just fiction. In real life, Mary Amelia Ingalls was born in 1865. At age 14, she lost her sight, likely due to meningitis. Not scarlet fever, as her sister Laura later wrote in the books, a detail changed for dramatic effect. She attended the Iowa College for the Blind from 1881 to 1889. She learned Braille, music, and homemaking. She graduated with honors. She lived independently for much of her life, managed her own finances, and even helped raise her nephew after her sister's death. She was not a tragic figure. She was a woman of resilience, intellect, and quiet dignity, and the actress who portrayed her, Melissa Sue Anderson, understood that. She refused to play Mary as fragile. Instead, she showed her inner steel, the kind that doesn't shout, but stands. Michael Landon, who wrote and directed this episode, didn't just want to tell a sad story. He wanted to challenge America's view of disability. In 1978, TV rarely showed disabled characters as whole people, with agency, intelligence, and courage. Most were sidekicks, victims, or inspirations meant to make able-bodied viewers feel grateful. But Landon said, "Let her be human. Let her struggle. Let her rise. Not because she overcomes blindness, but because she redefines what living fully means." The result? An episode that moved millions to tears, not out of pity, but out of recognition. Parents of deaf or blind children wrote to NBC saying, "For the first time, my child saw themselves on TV and felt seen." And that's the legacy of Look Back to Yesterday. It's not about looking back with regret. It's about looking back to remember who you were, so you can choose who you'll become. Mary didn't lose herself in the silence. She found a deeper voice, one that speaks through action, through love, through showing up when others turn away. And in a world that still too often measures worth by ability, that message is more urgent than ever. So if this journey touched you, if you've ever faced a loss that felt like an ending, only to discover it was a doorway, I'd be honored to hear your story. Drop a comment below. What did you have to let go of to become who you are today? If this 50-minute storytelling of Look Back to Yesterday moved you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to SG Top Celebrities, and hit the bell so you never miss another story that heals, teaches, and reminds us of our shared humanity. Thank you for walking this path with Mary. As Ma once said, "The eyes see what's in front of them, but the heart sees what's possible." And Mary, she saw further than most of us ever will. Until next time, keep your heart open, even in the dark.